Hey everyone out there in YouTube land. This is going to be my first video in what I hope to be a series of videos doing some book reviews. Recently I purchased myself a Nook. Ooh, pretty. So the Nook is basically like the Amazon Kindle, except it's by Barnes& Noble. And I don't know, I kind of think it's a bit cooler than the Kindle. I like the features of it. It's got some pretty cool features, but I've been reading away on it, and it's been pretty cool. I kind of made a little promise to myself that I would do less TV and more reading. So, and if I'm going to be reading, I might as well do little book reviews, right? I mean, it's like being in elementary school or something. I'm going to do a little book report for you guys. So my first book report that I'm going to do is going to be for Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter, called Guilty Pleasures. So this is the first book in the Anita Blake series. I honestly didn't know there was an Anita Blake series because back when we owned a comic book store, I remember the Anita Blake comic books that came out, and I thought they were pretty cool. I thought it was an interesting premise, and I actually read the comic books, but turns out that they're based on an actual book, and there's a lot of books. So I read the first one. I read some reviews about this book. A lot of them say they're awesome, it's great vampires, blah blah blah. And I read one review, which is interesting, because on the Barnes & Noble website they have like one of the best reviews and one of the worst reviews, and they put them up, side by side. And the reverse review said that it was gross and, massive grotesque content, and he couldn't even make it 50 pages and he had to just stop. And I thought, okay, well, we'll give this a shot. I made it through more than 50 pages, and I'm like, I have yet to see anything that was really that gross. So I don't know what their definition of gross is, but it is a bit pretty graphic. I mean, it's definitely an adult book. It's not a kid's book by any means. But I thought it was really interesting to read. The Anita Blake character, they do a good job at defining her. They do a good job at defining, all the supporting characters. And it's a good story, actually. We find out, she's basically an animator, which is someone who raises zombies, which is kind of interesting because, the book is called Vampire Hunter because she's a vampire hunter, but that's just kind of a side gig. I mean, her real job is as an animator, but it seems that the books are about vampire hunting, which is kind of funny to me, but whatever. So someone's been killing all these vampires, so the vampires capture her, and they contract with her to find the vampire killer and so they can stop him. So she's basically working around the clock because everyone's trying to kill her, and all this craziness is going down. And vampires in this book, they're mean. I mean, they're not nice people. They're not like the sparkly vampires of Twilight, which I like. I hate sparkly vampires. That's just not right. I like mean vampires. They're supposed to be a bit mean, and that's how they are in this book. And I don't want to give a bunch of spoilers, but she does her thing, finds a vampire killer, and it's all good in the end. Everyone's happy, sort of. A lot of people have died and are injured, but it's a good book. It's not a very long book. I believe it was a little bit over 200 pages. It reads really easy. So if you're one of the people like me, I don't like books with big words. I'm practically illiterate after all. But this book reads really easy. It's really easy to relate with the characters. I like the way the writer, writes things and creates images and whatnot. So I say go for it. If you like vampires, and if you're a sci-fi person, and I like vampires and I like sci-fi, so I figured I'd give it a go, and I did. I'm looking forward to reading the other books. I'm not going to read them back to back because I don't want to get into a cycle where I'm kind of forcing myself to read an entire series till it's all the way through before I start on with another book. So I'm just kind of cycling through my books. So I've read book one of this series, I've read a book one of another series. Currently I'm reading Wicked, which is the book that the Broadway musical is based off of. When I'm done with that book, I will do a book review of that one. It should be interesting because the book is actually, I'm about halfway through it now, and it's very different than the musical, which I've also seen. Anyway, stay on topic. Anita Blake, Guilty Pleasures. I highly recommend it if you like vampires. So read it and tell me what you think. Or have you already read it? Tell me what you think. Make comments down at the bottom. You know, tell me if you like it. Tell me you didn't like the book, why you didn't like it. Give me suggestions on other books that I should read. That maybe you've read Anita Blake and like other books, so give me those. Alright guys, until my next book review, I will talk to you guys later.